Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is the final layout this month. So that means I'm trying to use all the things. I did pretty well on the last layout using all of the die cuts. So now I just have a ton of cut aparts and a ton of scraps that I am trying to pile on here. And I'm starting by building my background because I do not have a 12 by 12, but I have scraps of both of the tiger papers, which are actually in the same scale. So I'm gluing them together so the pattern looks uninterrupted, which I think is really cool. That's not normally something you get in a collection. Usually, if they're going to reuse a print, they'll make it a different scale. So this scale being the same, I just thought it was a really cool opportunity to line them up. So that's going to be the background, and now I'm just going to go from largest to smallest on my scraps trying to build my layers. So I have a decent chunk of this aqua from the last layout that I gutted, so I'm going to use that as a big vertical column, and then that tone-on-tone pink square paper as my base for all of the photo layers. So I'm just trying to ink everything as I go. This layout I didn't have to think too much about because it's just piling all the scraps on however way they can go. So I only have one photo for this. It's a picture of date night at a Korean barbecue place that Marcus introduced me to that has quickly become one of our favorite date spots. I love this place. So you can see Marcus has a plate of Korean barbecue. I always get this noodle soup dish, and I know I'm gonna say it wrong, but I think it's called like jambong. It's kind of spicy. It has a really good broth, but it's got this like these thick noodles that are just so good. And you can get it with seafood or beef. I normally get it with beef, but I just love it. It is so good. And then with most traditional Korean places, they give you all the little dishes with all the different sides, and we really like all of that stuff too. So we love going here, and I don't think I have documented it yet. Maybe I have once, but I wanted to document it again because the food is just so good. And you can see Marcus is wearing his little suspenders again because he will use any excuse to try to dapper up his outfit. So I just wanted to document that as well. So I'm going to get this pink square glued down. These are the main background layers. And then I think I'm going to start layering around my photo and kind of meet in the middle. But that's kind of where we're starting. So I did pretty good with remembering to ink everything as well. I still have a lot of stickers on the sticker sheet I'm hoping I can use up. I still have a ton of cut aparts over there, like tags and stuff. And I just know I'm not going to get through all of that. I think I had to kind of pick between using all the tags and making that a focal point of the layout or using all of the paper scraps. And I chose the paper scraps because I will always choose layering. So I am at least going to try to get two of those tags used up, but I'm definitely focusing more on the paper layers. And I wanted another way to tear, so I decided to use that yellow floral and tear a couple chunks to run up the right side of the page, since I'm using that yellow floral as a mat around the left side of that pink floral. So that is kind of how I'm trying to use that scrap up and get some of that torn detail on the layout. So I'm just going to piece all of those together. They wasn't long enough to go the full 12 inches, but just by tearing pieces and layering them up, I think it got the job done. And then this pink plaid I really didn't need, but we're using all the things, so I found a way to squeeze that on there as an additional mat. So I'm going to get that trimmed up. I even trimmed a little piece of it off to go along the right side, so hopefully it looks like it's a big square layer and not just this little piece that I tucked into the side. But yeah, I was insistent on trying to use as much as possible. So it's just going to take me a minute to get all of that stuff glued down. I don't have a whole lot left of the brads, but I still have several of the chipboard pieces that are on the brad sheet that I'm hoping I can use up. I still have several branding strips too, so I want to at least get one branding strip used. So that's just everything that's in my mind. I do have those two little fussy cut aparts of the little like stamp butterflies to the left there, and I definitely want to try to use both of those. So when I get to the embellishment portion, that's the first thing I try to figure out how to incorporate. But now the background layers are done, so now I'm just trying to focus on photo layers. I have this horizontal yellow plaid, and now I'm pulling in the scraps of taupe to be my first mat around my photo. It's not big enough to go around all 4 quarters, but I'm just going to try to cheat so it at least goes around 3 corners. And I think that worked out well. I like when it's kind of offset layers sometimes. Sometimes when you mat everything squarely, there's not enough interest. So I think it's okay every once in a while to do a mat that only goes around 3 sides. And then now I have this stripe I was really trying to use, but I actually flip it over and use the butterfly side. And I like that more, but it's going to go behind the yellow plaid, just so I don't cut that off visually. But I'm realizing there's just a lot of pieces glued together right now, and I wanted to kind of get it all stabilized. So I'm going to glue all this together on that construction paper to help stabilize it before I keep going. But those are the only 3 scraps I have left. So I am going to use this butterfly print as my final paper layer. I don't use the rest of the pink plaid or the rest of that yellow floral, but I did get big chunks of that used up on this layout. I just didn't have a reason to use the rest of those bits. So those will be leftovers at the end of the month that you'll see. But for all the paper scraps I started with for this layout, I'm really happy I got what I did used up. So now it's time to figure out embellishment. So these are all my branding strips. I was trying to figure out which one to use, but I end up just going with that nice light blue geometric that is the same as the big vertical column, to bring that more into the forefront with the photo. And that's going to be my anchor for a cluster to the left of the photo. And then I'm thinking there'll be some cluster towards the top. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to put that other stamp butterfly cut apart up there somewhere just to mark my intention. And then here's the sticker sheet. I wanted to go ahead and pull it in before I committed to any of the embellishment clusters so I can make sure to incorporate them. And there were 2 in particular that were multicolored, layered looking sentiments, and I really wanted to get those used up. So I'm going to pop them both up on some foam. I have Embrace the Moment is going to run along the bottom of the photo next to one of those stamps, and then the little layered bit that says Life I'm going to have towards the top, and I really like that. And I think I moved that stamp to kind of tuck behind it, and I think that looks really cute. So I'm planning on these being the start of my clusters. I wanted a couple tags down here at the bottom cluster because I figured that would be like the larger one. So I'm just layering a yellow and a blue one together. I didn't want to see the sentiment on the blue tag because I only wanted that color to pop around the yellow. So I just took a moment to layer them in a way where you just got the color. And I only threaded the yellow tag because it's the only hole reinforcer you can see, but I might go back and thread the blue tag as well just so you see the twine coming up, because looking at it now, I didn't think it would bother me not having the layered tag have twine because it's just peeking behind, but it does bother me that it doesn't have twine. So I might go back and add a piece of twine to the blue, but you'll see once I get to that. And then here's all the chipboard pieces that are on the brad sheet that I'm determined to use up. So I'm trying to think about that as well before I really glue everything down. But here I go. I just threaded the yellow one, and I'm going to have to go back and thread the blue one because that's just going to bother me. And then there is one of the chipboard pieces is also a little tag, so I figured I would layer that up with the other one. So I did thread that with some yellow twine. So now the blue tag really looks out of place without having twine. But I like how that cluster's starting. I'm going to go ahead and glue down the photo layers because I know where they're going to go, and then I can really commit to the rest of the embellishment. So I have that. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down stuff at the top as well. I like how that little stamp looks with this sticker piece, so I'm going to get those stuck down. And then I definitely want a chipboard piece in the upper cluster, so I'm going to use this big floral cluster here. And then the only chipboard piece left is a small floral cluster, so I'll find a spot for that. It ends up going to the right of that one sticker at the bottom, so I'm glad I got all the chipboard used up. And then there's only two brads left, so I'm going to get those in opposite corners of the page as well. So I'm trying to find any other way to use these other paper pieces, but it's just not going to work. I'm trimming up the twine a little bit, and then I'll revisit the sticker sheet to try to squeeze on a couple more things. And then I still need to do the title, so I'm just going to title it Korean Barbecue. I'm out of a couple of the letters, so I do have to trim a U into an R and a Q into an A. But it works out well, and I'm just going to have that towards the top of the page, just to document that. I think that's the only thing I don't journal or anything, because I think the photo is pretty self-explanatory. And with the title, it kind of tells you where we are, so I think that's good. I do piece together a little heart and a little bow to add down to this other brad, and then I think I do some staples and some word stickers to just have an excuse to use some more word stickers. Honestly, I really didn't need the word stickers, but there were so many left on the sticker sheet, I had to get some on here, so I did just do 3 along the bottom. And then I'm just using my tiny attacher to staple them down just for that extra metallic touch. And since I had staples down there, I wanted to have staples towards the top of the page. So I do 2 over here by that cluster, and then 3 towards the top, just so that metallic is also kind of spread out. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the end of the month for layout share, and then the 1st of July we have a kit share for July. I am ready to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.